What if, that tight lower back you get right during performance review season isn't just like bad posture?
Right.
Or what if that recurring migraine that always hits on Sunday night isn't just a random headache?
Yeah.
Because we almost always default to the mechanical explanation, don't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Always.
Like you took on a massive project, you're hunched over a laptop for 12 hours a day, so, of course your shoulders are in absolute agony.
Uh-huh.
But what if your body is actually actively keeping a literal biological score of the career lies you tell yourself?
It's a deeply clinical way we've been taught to look at our lives, honestly.
Yeah.
The body is treated as a machine, the workplace is the environment, and physical wear and tear is just considered, the inevitable cost of doing business.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because for today's deep dive, we're exploring a personal, honestly, incredibly multi-layered essay that turns that whole mechanical view of the human body completely upside down.
It really does.
We're looking at a piece by Dr. Nomasonto Ntsele, and it's titled My Big Revelation, This Full Moon. And she draws this direct, unbreakable line between quitting a corporate job without a safety net, healing a severe chronic illness, and tapping into ancestral energy.
And what's really fascinating here is that she doesn't treat career burnout as merely a psychological issue
Right.
or her physical pain as a purely medical one. I mean, she views them as symptoms of the exact same root problem.
Exactly. And our mission today is to explore how she weaves all these threads together into one profound lesson about self-trust. But I love how this entire revelation doesn't start with some dramatic boardroom blowout.
No, not at all.
It happens on a weekend while she's casually scrolling through the internet, like we all do.
Right, yeah.
So Dr. Ntsele comes across a YouTube short by a South African money coach named Busi Salesho, and the video is titled, Why I Quit My Corporate Job Without a Plan. But the twist is, the coach's advice in the video is a massive warning against doing exactly that.
Yeah, she tells her audience absolutely do not quit without a plan, despite, having done it herself.
Right. Which triggers this intense, immediate emotional reaction from Dr. Ntsele. She admits in her essay she was just, totally taken aback.
Oh, she even went straight to the comments section of the video to argue,
Of course.
pointing out the hypocrisy of a coach telling people not to do the very thing that made the coach successful in the first place.
I mean, we've all been there, right?
Uh.
Furiously typing a novel in a comment section, you get that spike of adrenaline, and you just want to prove the person on the screen wrong.
Yeah, but instead of just firing off that angry reply and moving on, Dr. Ntsele actually hits the brakes.
Yeah.
She operates on this personal philosophy that, well, when you're heavily triggered by something external, it almost always means something internal desperately needs your attention.
So true.
She realized she was upset because she had also quit her corporate job without a plan way back in 2014, and she recognized that a part of her was selfishly hoping this YouTube creator was going to, validate her choice.
Right. She wanted the creator to essentially tell her story for her, and when the creator warned against it instead, it felt like a personal attack.
Exactly.
It's honestly a lot like the check engine light coming on in your car. Her initial instinct was to just, put a piece of black tape over the light by arguing in the comments and invalidating the video.
Just cover it up.
Right. But instead of ignoring the warning, she actually popped the hood to see what was malfunctioning in her own engine. She uses that emotional spike to delve into her own history. And she traces it back to a very specific morning, December 4th, 2013.
Yeah, that was the real catalyst. So she's out on her morning jog, and she's obsessing over a question her 13-year-old son had asked her the night before.
Oh, this part is so good.
He looked at her and asked, if you are forever complaining about your job, why are you still going there? Why are you not leaving it and find something you love doing?
The absolute unfiltered clarity of a child. I mean, they don't care about your 401k or your quarterly.
They really don't.
They just see you miserable and ask the obvious question.
Mm.
And her initial reaction out on that jog is to build this massive wall of rationalizations. Like, she thinks about the monthly bills. She thinks about having young kids in school. She tells herself she needs to wait until her husband, who's already self-employed, lands a big deal.
And those are the universal excuses, right?
Yeah.
Because they sound so responsible.
Yeah, they're the things we're supposed to worry about.
But out on that jog, a very subtle inner voice cuts through all the noise. The voice tells her the uncomfortable truth. It says, you are the problem. You do not trust yourself enough.
Ouch.
I know, it's a tough pill to swallow. All those practical reasons, the bills, the savings, the timing, were just a shield. She realized she was hiding behind her husband's career and her financial responsibilities because she fundamentally didn't trust her own capabilities.
And finding that deep-seated lack of self-trust is what ultimately gives her the courage to act. Like, she hands in her resignation on February 1st, 2014, and her son's reaction is literally just one word. He says, finally. But wait, I'm trying to figure out how someone gets to that point. How does someone develop such a profound lack of self-trust in the first place? I mean, nobody is born doubting their ability to survive.
Well, this raises an important question because Dr. Nensel doesn't just blame her own psychology here. She looks at the broader societal conditioning that actively trained her to doubt her innate talents.
Yeah.
And to understand that, we have to look at her childhood.
Right, because she actually had this natural businesswoman living inside of her.
Exactly.
Back in primary school, she was already selling sweets on the school transport. She was selling ice blocks at home. Before she even went to university, she was running a highly successful hair salon. She was making real money from her own talents, completely on her terms.
Yeah. Just think about the hobbies or side hustles you might have dropped in your 20s because someone told you they weren't, a quote-unquote real career. And that's exactly what happened to her. She abandoned a thriving, self-made path because she absorbed a very specific societal narrative. The message drummed into her was, you must study to be better. Education is the key to success.
Right.
She internalized the idea that her natural entrepreneurial ability wasn't enough, that it wasn't valid unless it came with a formal degree and eventually a corporate title.
So she ends up in the corporate world, working at the design and implementation level of different corporate systems. So she isn't just a passive observer sitting in a cubicle. She knows exactly how the corporate sausage is made.
She does, and her critique of these systems is sharp. She argues that corporate structures are intentionally designed to turn human existence into a commodity. From her perspective as a systems designer, she explains that employees are essentially treated like pilot users.
Pilot users. Okay, walk me through how she defines that in a corporate setting.
So, think about software development. A pilot user is someone who tests a system to make sure it produces the desired metrics. In the corporate world, you are trained to use a system to maximize output for the company.
Okay.
Over time, as a pilot user, you're conditioned to serve and defend that very system, prioritizing its metrics over your own well-being. The system isn't designed to nurture your innate talents, it's designed to extract your energy efficiently.
Okay, I'm going to push back a little here just to play devil's advocate.
Sure, go ahead.
Is it entirely the corporate system's fault that people stay in jobs they hate? Or is it just human nature to crave the safety of a steady paycheck? Like, are we really just brainwashed pilot users trapped in a matrix? Or do we willingly trade some of our autonomy just for the comfort of knowing the rent will definitely be paid next month?
I mean, it's fair to ask if it's just human nature to seek security. But is a system that forces you to trade your physical and mental health just to pay rent actually a sign of a functioning society, or a profoundly broken one?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dr. Nsel's argument is that the design of the corporate system exploits that natural human desire for safety. The system demands that you prioritize its deadlines and performance reviews over your own bodily needs. The real danger, she argues, is that when you constantly choose the system over yourself, it breeds what she powerfully calls unconscious self-hate.
Unconscious self-hate, wow. That's a heavy phrase.
Mm.
You're essentially telling yourself day after day that your true natural talents aren't valuable enough to sustain you.
Exactly.
You're choosing to believe that you absolutely need the corporate machine to survive.
Yeah.
Which means you fundamentally distrust yourself.
Yes. And this internal conflict doesn't just stay trapped in your mind as abstract anxiety. The psychological toll of that unconscious self-hate eventually demands a physical outlet. Because how long can the brain sustain that level of internal conflict before the body physically breaks down?
Here's where it gets really interesting. She connects her departure from the corporate world directly to her physical health.
Yeah.
She's been out of the corporate world for exactly 12 years. And for exactly 12 years, she has been completely free of period pains and the symptoms of endometriosis.
A complete cessation of symptoms that aligns perfectly with her timeline of leaving her job.
But wait, I'm struggling to bridge the gap between a stressful email from a boss and literal tissue growth in the womb. I mean, endometriosis isn't just bad cramps.
No, not at all.
It's a severe condition where tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of it. It causes extreme inflammation, internal scarring, and chronic debilitating pain. Walk me through how she connects corporate stress to that specific biological reality.
So, to understand how she bridges this gap, we have to look at her reliance on the philosophy of Louise Hay, who was a major figure in the mind-body connection space.
Okay.
Hay's core framework suggests that physical ailments are outward manifestations of internal emotional states. In this specific spiritual framework, menstrual pain is viewed as a rejection of the feminine process or a profound feeling of disempowerment.
Wow.
And endometriosis specifically is believed to be emotionally rooted in deep, unresolved feelings of insecurity, disappointment, and frustration.
So if we look back at Dr. Ntsele's life before she finally quit, she was feeling wildly disempowered. She didn't trust herself. She was deeply frustrated with her job, constantly complaining about it. She was terrified and insecure about her ability to survive without the corporate safety net.
And the emotional roots defined by this philosophy perfectly match her psychological state as a corporate employee who felt she had abandoned her true calling. Now, scientifically, we know that chronic stress keeps the body baked in high levels of cortisol,
Right.
which drastically increases systemic inflammation. If you are constantly in a state of fight or flight because you hate your environment, your body's inflammatory response goes into overdrive, which exacerbates conditions like endometriosis.
That makes so much sense. Dr. Netsel writes this incredibly profound line in the essay. She says, "The body remembers what the mind forgets, and it will express it through pain."
That's a powerful summary.
It really is. Think of the human body as a biological receipt printer.
Oh, I like that.
Right. The ink it uses to print is cortisol and adrenaline. You go through your day, and when you swipe your card for another 12-hour shift you hate, suppressing your natural instincts, the body pumps out stress hormones. The physical receipt printed out is literal biological inflammation and chronic pain.
Yeah, precisely.
You can ignore the emotional toll all you want. You can rationalize staying in the job for the paycheck, but the body is going to hand you the bill eventually.
The biological receipt printer, that's exactly it. And for Dr. Nentzel, healing finally came when she stopped ringing up those toxic transactions. She writes that she actively chose freedom over fear and healing over hustling.
I love that phrasing.
By making that choice, she says she healed her womb, which she refers to as the center of creation. So by reclaiming her creative entrepreneurial power out in the world, she literally healed her biological center of creation.
It's just an incredible story of personal triumph. But she doesn't stop there. She doesn't just say, I fixed my job and I fixed my health, the end. She zooms way out. She takes this deeply intimate, microscopic physical healing and scales it up to a macroscopic cosmic level.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, she frames her entire revelation around the specific astrological timing of when she is writing the essay. She points out that the piece was written during a full moon in Capricorn.
Okay, what does that mean in this context?
Well, in the African cosmology she references, Capricorn carries an energy of destruction and fixation. It's an archetype about tearing down old, obsolete structures and building new, lasting realities.
And she pairs that full moon with a Mercury retrograde, which she notes is a time for sorting out miscommunications, revisiting old family patterns, uncovering hidden truths, and rewriting past agreements. Now, whether or not you personally follow astrology, you can see how she's using this.
Yeah.
She's looking up at the stars and seeing a cosmic framework that gives her permission to break down the old structures of her life and rewrite the restrictive contract she had made with herself.
Right. It functions as a powerful mirror for her internal state. But she pushes the boundaries even further than astrology. She links her physical condition to her ancestral lineage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she suggests that the pain women experience in their wombs isn't just personal daily stress. She frames it as information coded in your DNA playing out. It's a signal urging you to take action to heal unhonored agreements that affect not just you, but your entire family tree.
And she actually connects this energetic shift to current real-world events. Like she looks at the political situation in South Africa, specifically referencing people fighting in the streets regarding land dispossession. She writes, energy doesn't die, but transforms into something else.
She does.
Now, we want to be incredibly clear for you listening. We are impartially reporting how Dr. Netsale frames this in her essay. We aren't endorsing or rejecting her view on South African land politics. We're simply exploring how she connects these massive macro-political struggles over stolen land to the microbiological pain of feeling robbed of one's own internal power.
And she sees all of it as interconnected energy. She's arguing that fighting for physical land on a national scale and fighting for biological harmony within your own body are manifestations of the exact same energetic struggle to reclaim what was lost or surrendered.
Right.
She views personal physical pain as a vital signal to take action Action that serves the individual, the family lineage, and the world at large.
That actually makes me wonder, though, how does she expect the average person to act on something so incredibly massive?
It is a lot.
I mean, she scales up from a personal medical diagnosis to cosmic moon phases and national land disputes. If I have a stress migraine from a toxic Tuesday morning staff meeting, I can't exactly resolve a national land dispute or rearrange the solar system to fix my head. How do we ground this?
That's the crucial pivot from theory to practice at the end of her essay, because despite the cosmic scale of her framework, Dr. Ntsele's actual advice to the reader is intensely practical and localized entirely within your own body.
Okay, what is it?
Her call to action is this: write a letter to your womb or whatever part of your body is holding chronic pain.
So she wants you to literally put pen to paper and express what needs resolving.
Exactly.
She advises using the current cosmic energies to rid yourself of pain caused by old, unhonored agreements you made with yourself. Like, that promise you made to just stick it out for one more year at a job you absolutely hate, even while your body is screaming at you to leave.
Yeah, the ultimate takeaway here isn't about becoming an astrologer or a political activist overnight. It's simply about self-trust. Her core message, the hard-won lesson she learned over 12 years of being pain-free, is summed up in her final advice. She says, trust yourself, trust your intuition, and do it scared.
Do it scared. I love that. You don't have to have a flawless, risk-free, spreadsheet-approved plan to take the first step toward healing. You just have to stop actively abandoning yourself.
That's it. Reclaiming your health and your potential begins by refusing to be a mere pilot user in a system that demands your energy but doesn't serve your highest good.
We started this deep dive talking about the mechanical way we usually view the body, like a machine that just gets worn down by the workplace environment, like a car with a check engine light we try to put tape over.
Right.
But Dr. Ntsele challenges us to see the body differently, not as a machine, but as an incredibly sensitive alarm system, a biological receipt printer that simply won't let us get away with ignoring our true purpose. So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder today.
Let's hear it.
If our physical ailments and our chronic pains are actually coded messages about the compromises we've made in our careers and our lives, what is the healthiest, most vibrant part of your body currently try to tell you about what you're actually doing right?